One of the final updates for Dying Light 2 in 2022 was released, Update 1.8, and it changed a lot. The game now runs better on PC, they changed the swinging animations to be more in line with how it was in Dying Light 1. Your swings now properly bounce off of enemies. They added in a new outfit for completing Bloody Ties. They added a cutscene for completing Bloody Ties. They added in Christmas sweets, and now as we progress to the end of the year, you're going to start see things change for the better, I hope. Techland is now preparing Dying Light 2 for their final update of 2022, Winter Tales. Data miners and the community have successfully found infected, all decked out in Christmas gear, holiday-inspired outfits, environments with snow, holiday weapons with Christmas lights wrapped around it. This event is going to be quite interesting. It looks awesome. Definitely looks more fun to me than Long Nights. Everything of what Techland has been working for the past year is leading to this moment. How will Dying Light 2 be remembered in 2022? Will they go out with a bang or decline and be forgotten about? Leading into this event, they also increased the blood and gore aspect, ultimately listening to community feedback. Like, look at this clip right here. It's a freaking bloodbath. And when Dying Light 2 was released in February, it was off to a rocky start. When you compare it month to month, you'll see situations of Techland struggling, but also learning on what the community wants. So today, I want to take a moment, let's go and head all the way back to February and see what Techland has done every single month since its release when it comes to post-launch support. Are they on the right track or not so much? Let's go ahead and find out. But before we do begin, let's go ahead and get a quick message from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Mech Arena. Mech Arena is the perfect game for those who love fast-paced, short action-packed PvP shooters. You can play 2 or 3 matches in less than 10 minutes, and in that short amount of time, you will have moments filled with intense gameplay. The maps are small, tight, built for constant encounters to occur. This mech game really goes above and beyond to ensure everything is quick. This game doesn't feel slow like other mech games out there on the market. Mech Arena is completely free to play on both Android and iOS. It's also on PC too. You can go ahead, use my personal link or scan this QR code to get bonuses worth $25. If you do so, you'll get 1 Firelight skin, 1 Prodigy crate, 1 Plasma Cannon 4 to help kickstart your game. If you're quick too, you can go ahead and add me. It's right there. Hear that ding 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 ding. We'll hop into some matches, stomp on some noobs. I mean, like, look at this. These guys are so bad at this game. Look at that. Wait for it. And he's dead. Let's go, Danny. Look at that. Easy kill. There's another one. We're going right for him. And dead. Honestly, the controls are very easy. Look at that. I just freaking won. Use my link down below and check out Mech Arena. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video. Now, let's begin. The first 2 months of this game's lifecycle was spent patching, updating current systems, and ironing out all of the bugs. If we go ahead and look at the original roadmap, February gave us this first ever DLC, which was outfits. They made outfits inspired by both the Peacekeepers and the Survivors. And this content was welcomed. It was a little treat. It wasn't really meant to be anything too exciting or major. I mean, this did come out 2 weeks after its release, so people are still playing at this time. People are still actively enjoying what the base game has to offer. It wasn't really until March where we got our first ever piece of new content, a set of challenges. These challenges were new parkour missions, new combat challenges, and again, they were okay. Nothing too special. Parkour missions and challenges overall don't really tend to offer up much replayability once you get a gold medal. And then we got to April, where the issues started to really spill out about the fundamentals of this game. April introduced a series of new mutated infected added into it, and man, it was quite underwhelming.
What the f is this piece of shit?
Their mutated infected was a slight twist on already existing one. I was expecting fundamental changes, new mechanics, new designs, something to really make them more aggressive than their counterparts. I wanted to see a night and day difference between my interactions with them, not just a difference visually. So they started out by taking the goon and essentially added in an elemental effect to him. It was quite generic and not really a compelling enough reason to hop back onto Dying Light 2. Of course, there are elements, it was the most basic toxic ones that you see so often in gaming nowadays. Fire, electric, a toxic one, and a couple others too. The community criticized Techland for doing mutations that were not interesting because they kind of came off as lazy. Because on top of this too, also in April, we got our first ever in-game event. And guess what it was? Double XP. It was a part of the event booster pack, which I mean, at this point, 2 to 3 months later, players, they're kind of already max level, and without legend levels being in the game, this content was meaningless to them. But I will say, for new players, this is awesome. You can get that XP, juice yourself up. You can speedrun progression and get yourself ready for Dying Light 2. I do think by the end of April, maybe the beginning of May, Techland really started to understand community feedback, and big requests that we kept asking for started to appear. Their events did ultimately get better over time, but they still do need some work. Also in April, the first major piece of content given to the community was a new game plus, a mode that allowed players the ability to replay their story, keep their levels, keep their gear, and see alternate story paths. And honestly, it's f***ing awesome that they added this in so early on compared to other games on the market. What was really nice with New Game Plus is that it also added in other community requests as well. In this mode, volatiles were now roaming around, banshees appeared more frequently, 30 new inhibitors were added in, a new weapon rarity, and like I said, it was awesome. The other events in the booster drop were in May. We had Trove of Crystals, where better spawn rates for the crystals happened. Then we had Blue Moon, which enhanced nighttime immunity. Yay! Once again, great for new players, but for existing one, not so much. I think events should be something fun, something unique, not quality of life improvements. But I will say, May happened to introduce a fan favorite event, Hyper Mode. And holy shit, did Hyper Mode really steal the spotlight. It was actually incredible. Every enemy that you hit would fly a million miles away from you. That's a proper event right there, not Blue Moon or 4x XP. Events should be something creative, something different. And with a lot of the ones that we had at this point, I couldn't really say that. But moving on, we're past May now. Cross that shit out, we got a couple months to go. Let's talk about June, which actually happens to be my favorite month for Dying Light 2.
Better be a written apology. Let's see this. Oh, this is very nice. Hey, we gotta get this framed.
In June, we got a photo mode. Players now have a tool that they could constantly revisit to use and express themselves. Twitter and other various social media platforms could be used to promote your game. You just gave your audience more tools to help with the marketing for you, and the inclusion of this mode was a delight. I do wish that they go ahead and expand on this mode in the future. Maybe they add in some new poses, some new faces, maybe some new color options. Anything would work. This way, the more options the player has to express themselves and make even more content will result in an even more engaged community. Adding in photo mode was Techland accepting and hearing community feedback, and it was awesome to see. Some of the creations players are coming up with are incredible. Take a look at this one, or this one, or this one, and also this one. They're amazing. But also in June, we got the first ever chapter update, Into the Footsteps of the Night Runner, which added in an agent ranking system, missions and bounties, rewards, and also new enemies. The chapter system is going to be a reoccurring update that players can find coming every 3 or 4 months. Their role is simple: add in more endgame content for you. Chapter 1 at the time was a significant content drop for players to enjoy. This brand new content would keep players busy for hours to come. Don't get me wrong, there are issues with it. Some of the bounties were laughable, often repeated back-to-back days in a row, and some of the rewards weren't quite worth it in the beginning. But over time, they did learn from it and ultimately make it better. Chapter 1 was a very good foundation that set things up nicely for the future. Especially when you compare Chapter 2 to Chapter 1, Chapter 2 is virtually better in every single way. We will do a much deeper dive into Chapter 2 so you can fully understand the chapter system and what it has to offer. But to conclude, they added in the Bloody Summer event, which increased dismemberments. And man, it was truly glorious.
Let me get this straight. You think that killing those guys is funny?
I do. And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Bloody Summer event? Mwah! Chef's kiss. I love this event. Although I do think increased gore and dismembers should just be the norm, it was good to see that they are actively experimenting with it. Once again, I much prefer this type of update than Long Nights or 4XXB at nighttime. The Bloody Summer event was a great way to end off the month of June. One thing I hadn't mentioned previously, but each time you do these events, you have 2 or 3 different opportunities for rewards. Typically, you get your participation award and then your community rewards. And honestly, before Bloody Ties, these rewards were abysmal. 1 hunter token seems to be a reoccurring pattern, Techland. But when it came to the Bloody Summer event, you got a new weapon, a new outfit, and this is when I think Techland really started to piece together what the community wanted to see from events. Then we got to July, which gave us literally nothing in July, nothing worth mentioning. We did get Long Nights, but I don't think you want to hear me talk about that. So let's go to August. August gave us the first ever community update. I'm going to cream. The community update are by far Techland's best work when it comes to post-launch support for Dying Light 2. Some examples are, they added in a gritty filter to make the game look similar to E3 2019. They added more biters into the city, made them more aggressive at nighttime. Virals became more vigilant. More special infected spawned at nighttime. Dark Hollows and Forsaken stores were now flooded with volatiles during the day.
Just asked for specifically that.
PS5 got a balance mode, Xbox got an update for it. Community update number 1 was amazing, and like I said, the highlight of Techland's commitment to making this game right and fixing it for the community. They literally took feedback and suggestions directly from the people and implemented those changes right into Dying Light 2. That's commitment. Like, whatever your thoughts are about the current state of the game, whether you're satisfied or dissatisfied, when it comes to community update number 1, that is f***ing awesome. I will defend that statement to the grave, Danny. They wouldn't go and add an E3 lighting filter for no reason. They did so for the community. And soon, very soon, community update number 2 is also supposed to be on its way. Most likely releasing in early 2023, still to be announced. And since community update number 1, we have been actively voicing our thoughts, our concerns, our feedback nearly every single day since. Myself and many of your favorite content creators went to Poland to meet Techland, talk about the current state of the game. When we were there, we aired out our unfiltered thoughts to this poor man right here. They are aware, they know what to work on and what to fix. They know their weak areas. Which leads me to September, which introduced Chapter 2. The Huntress and the Hag. Chapter 2, like I said, was virtually better than Chapter 1 in every single way. So a quick summary of the chapters. You complete missions and bounties in exchange for rewards. That's it. That's the bare bone minimal explanation that I can give to you. And bounties in Chapter 2 were unique. They feel like they put some effort into them, which I do applaud, because some bounties in Chapter 1 were stupid easy. Get kills and that's it. No bounties in Chapter 1 on release made you go out of your way to get them completed. It would simply happen on its own. With Chapter 2, you needed to do some planning here, which I love. In the reward shop, the outfits, the bows, the crossbow, all wonderful additions to Dying Light 2 here. You finally had some new content worth playing for. The issues that arose from this chapter were still a good amount, but nothing compared to the issues of Chapter 1. The bounty variety was still lacking. You would often get the same bounties over and over. 2 days in a row with the same bounties is meh, not really good for your endgame content. And with the release of Chapter 2, however, it kind of broke the game. And this was somewhat a small reoccurring pattern happening in Dying Light 2 updates. They would make one massive update to fix certain things. The next thing you know, your game is crashing often and you're falling through the map. I hope as time progresses, Techland really spends a lot of time upping the quality of their work. It's not a good look to have your new content not functioning on day one. It's depressing and disheartening to see. You spend so much time as a developer and effort into making these awesome updates for us, so please just make sure that they're working. I don't want this game to end up into a cycle of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, which is kind of where I think we're at right now. So please, Techland, do what you can, listen to us. We really want this game to succeed. But now, this is going to lead me to October, where we had the Halloween event, which was easily the best event introduced into Dying Light 2. It was pure chaos. It was everything I expected from a Dying Light 2 seasonal activity. You could just tell that Techland had an amazing time developing this. With the Halloween event, you had to collect treats to get potions. These potions were quite wacky. They affected your jump height, made your screen black and white, and plenty more. Some other rewards that this new seasonal agent Baka had was masks. Masks that you wouldn't find in the normal open world. Masks that were specifically tied to the event that we were playing, the Halloween event. And honestly, I didn't really have any gripes with this event. I think it was awesome. The only thing I could think of is that with this event, they heavily focused on doing co-op bounties, which is normally fine. I have no problem with that, except for co-op decided to break during this time. Remember what I said earlier, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But overall, October's event set up things very nicely for November, where the first DLC, Bloody Ties, was released.
No. Wait.
November, Bloody Ties alongside a big update was introduced into the current state. And Bloody Ties was met with mixed responses once again. Many loving it, many hating it, many thinking it's the spawn of Satan. It was all over the place. The DLC introduced everything that you would normally expect. New weapons, outfits, masks, and tons more. They added a story as well. It's kind of lackluster, but overall, majority of the content in this DLC was challenges. So remember from month 2, those set of challenges from earlier? This DLC is essentially that on steroids. 20 plus new challenges were added into Dying Light 2, and for a price tag of $9.99, I do think it was worth it. However, if you're not a fan of challenges, combat challenges, parkour challenges, you're going to absolutely despise this content. And I don't blame you. Challenges can only offer up so much replayability before it gets old. Once you get your gold medals, once you get your outfits, there isn't much left for you to do, especially after you complete the story. The story was very rough in the very beginning and also at the end. It just ends so abruptly, it's mind-boggling to me. Honestly, character relationships, they're dull, uninspiring. This guy, couldn't give a shit less about him. Churro who, Churro gone, get out of my life forever, I'm over you. The dad, not bad. Astrid, kind of cool. She's an influencer, so she's a shit person. I do have to say, I'm very critical at this moment, but there is some enjoyment out of Bloody Ties. There is a good little middle section of that story, and I think a lot of the content in here will be worth it for you. I don't think Bloody Ties is a complete write-off. If you can get this with your purchase of Dying Light 2, then it's absolutely worth it. I do have a full video right here about my full thoughts and opinions about it. But now, let's move on to December. December ends with hopefully some new holiday events coming this season. In the beginning of the video, we spoke very briefly on what Techland has prepared for us. The event looks and sounds like it's going to be awesome, but will it disappoint? Will it be another example of an update breaking the game even more? It looks like by next week, the latest, we will find out for sure what's going to happen with the game. But also in December, something pretty major happened. Techland has finally decided to release developer tools for the public to use. That is amazing. The community can now start building different worlds, different maps and levels, and if it's done properly, it will reignite the community in some areas once content starts to be pushed out. Soon, very soon, I imagine there's going to be many people making replicas of Haran, E3, and even Elysium. What the community is capable of with these tools is about to change Dying Light 2 forever. Even without official developer tools, modders were doing so much with this game, and they had very little tools available to them. Guns were added in, parkour mechanics were fixed, population on the streets were increased, and a ton more quality improvements were happening. You see, the best thing about these mod tools too is that no one is forgotten about. Content that is created and developed on PC will be available to the consoles at some point in the future. No one is being left out when it comes to mod support for this game. While it would have been amazing to have Steam Workshop support, I do think the inclusion of console players for this is more beneficial for the long term. But what's also really funny is that modders are already recreating the leaked DLC that we spoke about in my previous video. They're already making the sunken cities. They're doing so much already, and it's only been a couple days. It will be very ironic if the final version of this project is better than DLC2. But since we are on the topic of DLC2, the entire story decided to leak. Over 8,000 words talking about different scenes regarding traveling around on a boat. Those areas may or may not be scripted. It seems to be a lot of talk about factions fighting each other and a focus on crystals. I don't want to dive too deeply into it because it kind of reads like bad fan fiction involving humans again. I've been very vocal on what I want to see in future content, and I think 99% of the community agrees with me. We want to focus on the infected, and with this leak, it's not the case. If more info comes out regarding this, maybe I'll cover it, but for now, that's it. You can read it for yourself. It's in the description. But that is everything so far about what has happened to Dying Light 2. Starting from February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and now we're here at December. But yeah, that's everything that I have for you guys today. Once again, go check out the sponsor of this video. Thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video. Use the link down below, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.